are loading in. We are going to get into the action here as soon as we can. If you are joining us just now, thank you. We appreciate your company. You're tuning in at an excellent time. Gen.G has a 1-0 lead here in this decider. Winner advances in the loser's bracket. Loser goes home empty-handed. First blood going to go over to Gen.G.
Wall goes down in mid from Effys, as they've got a 2-player advantage. T1's going to be chiseling away at that ice. MkaeL moving up into mailroom. crashies again, waiting for that ice to thaw out. Slow Orb's going to move in as well. The pistol round right now looking strong for Gen.G, as crashies is stuck behind that with the spike by his side, as well as the Omen. You've got Guimon, who's playing the breach. Bit of an interesting role juggle there for Guimon, who's been playing the Raze across a lot of the maps we've watched today. So Guimon's going to swing out from vent. The shot's right on the money. Here comes the flash. That should blind them if they're peeking, but they're not. Damage through the box is fatal for Skadoodle, and it all falls onto one, the last man standing. It's going to be the Omen, and that'll be AZK who goes down. So a massive role juggle coming in right now as the team ace comes through from Gen.G and the pistol. We'll pull up the scoreboard so we can see where everything lands. Well, we've got MkaeL playing the Omen. He was playing as the Cypher previously, so no Cypher coming in from Gen.G. Guimon was playing Raze, now he's playing Brim. Huynn's playing Jet again. PL1 is now playing the Brim, he was playing the Omen. Effys playing the Sage. On the opposite end, Brax still on the Cypher. Food has gone over to the Raze. He was playing as the Omen before. AZK has gone from the Brim to the Omen. crashies on the Sage, or on the Phoenix, excuse me, and Skadoodle going from the Stova to the Sage. So interesting. Both teams juggling a lot of roles around.
Yeah, and it's interesting, especially on the side of Gen.G. They've run this comp on this map before, so there's something about Split in particular that they like to execute with this composition, with the agents being juggled around, that you don't always see on other maps, and it certainly paid off in the past for them. But again, T1, a different beast. They did a bit of agent juggling of their own. The spike looks like it's going to be a hard hit onto A. And there are not a ton of defenses, just the one Brim. It's going to be sitting back by their spawn. It's going to be PL1 with the ghost from downtown. He's going to drop that molly to try to delay things for now. But Guimon with the big flash, able to take care of AZK.
Guimon still here with the pistol. Gonna find 4 on the round. Just kind of stalls out. Not sure what happened there. He stopped moving for a moment. Don't know if he thought the round was over or if he alt-tabbed, but whatever the case may be, he ends up getting picked off. But at that point, the damage had been dealt. Guimon, 5 kills currently on the scoreboard across the first 2 rounds. We'll have to go ahead for a reinvestment. So his money's actually not in a great spot. 200 bucks left as he goes for the Phantom with light armor. Full buy coming in, but you can see it's not exactly fantastic either for T1. Light armor for Brax, light armor for AZK, and crashies as well. Food and Skadoodle on full armor, buying down to 0. So we'll see if T1's able to find a crack in the defense here. As multiple players on the side of Gen.G are still rocking the SMGs, they go for the ult or pickup over in B main. Brax is able to pick off player 1, so it's a nice little advantage early on. Effys, how did he not spot him? His hip went through, but for some reason, Effys doesn't see him, and that allows crashies to sneak into ropes.
Unfortunately, the rest of T1 is going to have to take the scenic route through sewers because mid has been walled off. You hear them going there. Brax on the side of T1 was able to get 1, and Huynh has spotted another player, but the spike again making its way onto A. AZK with a big kill onto Heaven as Huynh is sent to the sidelines. The spike now making its way in. Some defenses, but not a ton really on the side of Gen.G. One of them isn't even anywhere near the site. Now the rotation is going to come around. T1 sitting pretty here in the gun round.
A little unfortunate there as Effys thought he spotted that player. Not sure how much of a difference it would have made as the defense was crumbling elsewhere. A 2-on-5 currently. Paranoia is going to come in. That's going to force him out of position. MkaeL is here by his side. Gen.G Looking like they're going to surrender their first round here on the defense. Brax finds a third on the round, and Effys says, you know what, I've had enough. It's time to retreat, but crashies is waiting on the stairs, and that'll be the final kill on the round as a flawless round comes in from T1 in the first buy round. That's absolutely massive on your attacking side of Split. And the money is a little bit all over the place. You can see Huynh barely enough to buy a rifle and armor. And Guimon also not exactly in a great spot. So he's going to have to go down to an SMG if he wants. The juggling's going to go back and forth in spawn. We'll see what they decide to do. And yeah, there you go. So the SMG is actually going to go to Effys. Guimon gets a rifle drop, and given his early performance, that's not all that surprising.
Again, another mid hit seems to be the play. This time, there's not going to be a wall there to fend things off. What there is, however, is a breach who's poised to wreak havoc once the information comes through that that's where they're going to go, along with the smokes. And then you've got a jet. There's the Rolling Thunder. It's going to knock up. It actually may split the uprights. It may maybe hit one. Either way, Huynh takes care of crashies. That's one down on the side of T1. There's that wall. As Guimon looks to play a little bit more aggressively. There are 3 members on the other side of the wall. AZK with the jumping shots on Guimon to take him out. It's going to be a 4v4 here. The spike, in the midst of all of that, did not get any further towards the site. Now, once again, pushing through sewers. It looks like it's going to be an A hit again with mixed results for T1.
Gen.G has to worry about Brax, who's currently pushed up on ramp. The spike is in that territory as well. Now, what's interesting is you have the raise coming through from ropes, but you've got MkaeL potentially on the flank of the flank. It's all about timing. Effys isn't playing up on this one, so he's playing around the corner. But if he can get into position in time, perhaps it'll work out well. There's the blast pack. The Sage doesn't need the help. He doesn't need it at all. AZK will be the only one that finds a pick on the push. It was on to player one. He's traded out immediately. Gen.G clapped back on the T1 after losing that first full buy round. They respond. But T1's got money to fall back on, so another full buy will be coming in from the attacking side.
Yeah, but they won't have money to fall back on here after this one, should they lose it. And really on the other side, there's some, maybe a little bit more, but not a ton. Right, Effys is all the way down to nothing. Guimon and MkaeL are down to scraps as well, as they're both under 2,000 credits. So this is an important round when we think about the impact that it may have on the following one. Oh, Fu tries to go a little cheeky and get that ult orb, and player one is gonna pop him in the face.
Crashies again. In the ropes. He's done this before. This time, though, Guimon got an angle. Oh, the timing starts to shift his position, and it doesn't work out so well. We've seen this passive mid-play approach before, but usually it's from a team who's got a Cypher to put a tripwire down in ropes. And that allows them to pay less attention. They can focus their efforts on both Heaven A and B side. There's the neural theft being popped. Brax flings that hat out over on ramp. That'll give away the positions. That's why the slow orb and the shots came through. They feel more confident trying to take this fight over towards the B site. There's Paranoia coming in from Heaven, but it's not actually going to connect. The smoke's going down on B main. Huynn's in position, but he's back on the other side of Pillar, and they know he's here because of where the smokes came from. AZK moving into the backside of site. PL1 not able to gun any down. Effys is here as well. Both players going to be working their way up into Heaven. And Skadoodle shuts that down early, but starts to fall down and manages to survive for a little while. And it's a solid hold, at least for the time being, for T1. You can see the damage going in both directions with Skadoodle just a scratch away from death, but it hasn't stopped him from continuing the fight forwards as Skadoodle finds 3 on the round. AZK gets the final one. A back and forth volley yet again. Gen.G may have won the last round, but T1 responds. And again, the money not exactly stellar here. This time, though, it's Gen.G who's suffering from an economic drought. So we'll see some pistols and shotguns come out from the defending side.
Neither of these teams have a ton of reps on this map. 6-6 record for Gen.G, 4-2 record for T1. This literally is, it feels like a coin toss here on this second map, but either way, Gen.G find themselves with the early advantage. Another passive play up mid. But take a look at how aggressively Gen.G's playing this. Oh no, it's wreaking havoc onto the back line. crashies and AZK get taken out as they're sliced and diced. The flank from sewers was not expected by anybody. Player one looking for the other side as well. Unfortunately, Brax is going to get the best of him. Huynh keeps up his butchering, this time into the hands of Brax. That's 3 kills for him. Skadoodle's going to pull up his buddy AZK to try to even numbers up as best as he can, but it's still going to be an advantage on the side of Gen.G. The spike no closer to a site as it was just a few moments ago. The problem is there are 45 seconds left in this thing. They're going to have to bust a move here and do so soon, but Effys is in mailroom, and he's going to put a stop onto it for as long as he can. AZK sitting on the sideline. There is not enough time to go elsewhere if you're T1. They're going to have to force their way in, but the wall boosts up food, takes care of Effys, and that's going to give, or it should, give them access onto B, at least for the time being.
There's the ult being popped by Food. He's going to try to fly into B main. He's looking for that player who is playing in that position. The problem is the defense has fallen elsewhere. So now Huynh, who got things started with the ult early, has to move into position. The dark cover fades at the worst possible time. It's all up to MkaeL here as the Omen. Despite the early damage, somehow T1 has recovered to bring things to this point. MkaeL now moving in from heaven. First kill right on the money, but he's low. 56 HP coming in for the Omen, and his final target is playing this so patiently. Food recovers, finds 3 on the round. T1 barely survived that one. It's unfortunate because we haven't really seen plays like that from Huynh. If I'm being honest, that's one of the few times we really see him chain those kills together with the ult. Huynh is feeling it right now, 7-3 at the top of the scoreboard for Gen.G, but unfortunately, his efforts go unwarranted or unnoticed by the rest of the team as they weren't able to manage to scoop up a few more kills and prevent that round from going the direction of T1. So fantastic start for Gen.G, but an even better recovery from T1.
Oh boy. Both members of T1, they're playing with fire. Huynh. Too many targets, too many options. And indecision gets the best of him. Oh, and then he opts to go for the peek again, and AZK punishes him for it. Effys is going to pick up the op that Huynh dropped, and he's going to have to back up. It looks like it's going to be a hit onto B. 2 members from Gen.G are going to have to rotate all the way over from A. And who knows whether or not they're going to show up in time. crashies playing the smoke very well, getting the best of MkaeL. As AZK gets onto the site, they're going to have free reign. They're going to have access. I don't know if Gen.G even want to deal with the heat at this point, and as it doesn't seem like they're moving in. It may be because the spike hasn't gone down yet. They don't know where it's going. But with this, yeah, it looks like they might just try to save this one out.
There was moments of promise here for Gen.G on the defense, but T1 putting up a promising push. The attacking side of this map is not exactly a forgiving side, but T1's putting in work. About to take the lead away from Gen.G as well. Gen.G trying to hold on to these weapons as long as they possibly can. Again, you've got dual smoke meta here for Gen.G. Single flash this time around. We've seen similar setups to this in the past. Or, excuse me, it is dual flash. What am I talking about? They've got the breach in play. So we've seen them go dual smoke, do flash, but usually it's a Phoenix. Here it is, though. That 4th round going on the board for T1. Wow. I don't think they realize what just happened. He's hiding back behind that box. The bullets come through, and he's like, hold on. Seriously? Peeks out. Luckily, no one's there. The weapons surviving is actually incredibly important. It allows them to round out the buy by dropping weapons around for the other members of the team. So Gen.G is going to feel the full buy. Again, it will include the AW, or the operator, not the AWP. Wrong game, wrong timeline. But the op will come into play. It's Huynh who's going to be carrying it 7-4 again from Huynh. Last round, though, like many of his cohorts, forced to just save the weapon as T1 got too much control too early.
T1 once again showing that they're very comfortable slow, methodical approach, and Gen.G showing that they're very comfortable giving up mid control, or at least part of it. They aren't willing to give up ropes. They aren't willing to give up MkaeL, nor should they. But either way, it's a lot of the same really from both these squads. You see the wall that's going to go up, block things off from the upper side of B. And it really seems like T1 likes to milk the clock down before hitting a hit. And it's like dead silence. And then all of a sudden, everything erupts and chaos ensues. And that seems to be what the play is going to be here on B. It looks like Omen's going to wait until the wall goes down. As the run it back goes out, crashies, excuse me, is going to work his way onto the site. Is not even able to get one as the orbital strike drops as well. And that's going to delay the push. They're on the other side of it. They're still in garage. That's going to buy them enough time for reinforcements to arrive. But AZK is able to take care of player one. And Gen.G takes care of the rest. Make that 4. T1 drops. We're knotted up 4-4.
While Gen.G's finding rounds, T1, the way they're just winning rounds, here and there finding some holes, some gaps in the armor. That's going to spell disastrous once we switch sides. Again, against TSM earlier, they were able to put up 9 rounds on the defense. And while we saw an impressive push from TSM once they swapped sides, T1 was ultimately able to take that map 13-11. Gen.G has to put their foot down. At this point, I think they need to win out. Make this an 8-4 half. You've got to push potentially coming towards B where you've got player one positioned as the sole defender. And oh, the timing almost works out. Has to be careful. There's the boost pack coming in as well. The satchel doesn't produce the early success, and there's kills coming in from Effys. The wall is not where it needs to be at all. There's a massive gap. So this push towards B leaves a lot to be desired here as T1 struggles to gain access to the site and decides to back off instead.
What they don't realize is, I mean, there are a couple of players on the side of Gen.G that are still back towards the defending side spawn, but they can get in here. Guimon, however, taking care of Brax is certainly going to make them think twice about this even more as he drops on the other side of the map. MkaeL, one of the players just on the flank. He may have spotted him. Yep, he's going to take care of food, but there's another one right on the brink. MkaeL's going to opt to go forward. He's going to get slowed down a bit. You hear the spike. Going to go down as Skadoodle is going to be able to land it, but Skadoodle, buddy, a 1v4. We've seen you do crazy things like this before, but, well, you're not going to do it here. Huynh is able to take him out with the Sheriff, put him behind bars, and that's going to be a 1-round lead for Gen.G.
So Gen.G gets back on the scoreboard and takes the lead away from T1. They didn't have it for very long. But again, 4 rounds on the board for T1. And still time to add a few more. The buy coming in. Ugh, it's a little bit odd. As Food is forced to use a pistol with light armor.
Can I get a drop?
But 4 of his teammates going to be bought up. You can even hear him asking for a buy, potentially an SMG or a pistol coming his direction from AZK. Yeah, there's the Ghost. Good luck, make it work. Looks like he's just going to blast pack his way through. You'll see this at times. Uses the ult as well. He's popped that showstopper. Does he find the kill towards elbow? No, he fires it towards heaven. That doesn't work out so well for him at all. Player one with the great lockdown from that position. There's a nice pickup, though, from Brax as Huynh off the mark with the operator. Guimon is over in hell currently, sitting underneath the balcony in the cubby.
You will not kill my
The walls
allies.
come through, so the res can come in as well onto crashies. So a nice rebound off the early kills that came through from PL1.
I know exactly where you are.
There's a neural theft.
You will not kill my
And that seems to be what they needed to want to get out. You may not kill my ally, but actually AZK says, yes, I will. Player one is able to get the 3rd one of the round as AZK gets cleaned up, but it's still going to be a 3v2 in favor of the boys in red. T1 looking to make their way over on B, looking to get the spike down, and they are going to be able to do that with relative ease. Gen.G and company are going to be rotating their way in, but they are going to be outnumbered. and this is going to be a difficult site to retake no matter how you slice it. They do not have any ults. They may have a little bit of utility. Yeah, actually, Huynh has plenty. He's not going to have the Rolling Thunder to make his way onto the site. Neither is the Orbital Strike going to be available, so it's a difficult situation, but maybe with some smokes and some flashes, they might make something happen here. But you hear the clock begin to tick. Oh my gosh, you're going to go onto it anyway. Or at least consider it, tease it.
3 out of 5.
I guess player 1 is able to get 4, but Brax gets 4 of his own, and he's the one who wins the round. Yeah, you may have gotten 4 on the other side, but this one's more important. Knot it up 5-5.
Again, we keep talking about it. This is an impressive half from T1. I know it feels scrappy at times with both teams trading blows, but it is split. An incredibly defensive-sided map, the most defensive-sided map in the rotation. So 5 rounds on the attack is quite solid. The final rounds of this first half need to go the way of Gen.G. They desperately need to put up a push, and I love this. Huynh wanted to go aggressive. I actually applaud the play, but with the slow orb and the nade coming through, I understand the fall off here. There's a double dark cover that allows them to push up further. They have to be careful. Food's all the way up, but the paranoia blinds him for the time being. MkaeL able to get one. There's the ult coming through. The flash comes out. crashies dies. It trades back and forth. Pandemonium on the B site, resulting in a 2-on-3 that favors T1, but there's Guimond swinging wide from spawn, and it brings everything down onto Brax. He's gotta be the hero here for T1. As the spike's been dropped in the B site, there's a minute left on the clock. 2 players remain for Gen.G.
He has time, and it doesn't seem like Gen.G know where the spike is, because they certainly aren't playing up on it. They don't have eyes on it, and that might just be the difference maker here. Brax is going to slowly creep his way in, check his corners, not understanding, not realizing that he's going to have free access. There it is. He's picked up the spike. The problem is he's not going to have enough time to rotate all the way out. He might try to frag this thing out, but the second he starts to plant, he's going to give away his position. There's the cage. Yeah, they're going to know. Huynh looking to knock him up. It shows up just a little bit late. But here comes the attack from the side of Gen.G as they try to hunt down Brax, as they try to get the spike off the site. The defuse is going to come out, but Brax is able to get one. It's going to leave things in a 1v1, forcing the last member of Gen.G off of the defuse. It is Huynh. He's going to flash. He's going to go aggressive. He's going to get the kill, and he's going to get the defuse. 3 there for Huynh. Gen.G taking the lead yet again.
Guimond with strong play. Got a little scary and dicey towards the end as Brax put on the hero pants. Unfortunately, this time around, they don't quite fit. So it will be Gen.G who finds their 6th. Again, it's just this back and forth, back and forth. Both teams fighting for control of the scoreboard. The final round coming out from T1, it's not going to be pretty. You're going to have a couple of rifles in the mix. Skadoodle still hasn't spent his cash yet, and late on the buy, doesn't spend. He's got 1,700 left. That's a massive mistake. Skadoodle leaving a lot of cash on the table. Hopefully it doesn't come back to haunt him.
Right there. Put down.
Oh, Brax on the other side of the cage says, hello, Guimond. I'm going to be able to take him out. T1 with the numbers advantage here in the final round of this first half. And it has been Boq, as you have said, time and time again, back and forth like 2 heavyweight boxers trading blows, going all the way to 15 rounds. Brax, that didn't look pretty, but it worked nonetheless. Effys, however, is able to pick up 2 very important kills, make that 3 as Brax drops. Gen.G's looking to put the finishing touches on this thing. Effys so close to the ace, but PL1, what a jerk, takes the ace from him. Either way, Gen.G find themselves up 2 at half.
That's what we needed to see from Gen.G towards the tail end. We needed to see them pick up those final 2 rounds. Still, I want to say, it is a good half coming in from T1. It was a really weird half, to say the least. Very much back and forth. The money in a constant state of flux for both sides. Brax with a 12-9 performance coming in for T1. 12-5 for Effys. He's been playing lights out as the Sage. 11-7 for Guimon as well, who started things early, cooled off a bit, then picked things up again towards the tail end. This round has heavy importance for Gen.G. They need to pick up the pistol, because while they have the lead currently, it'll disappear quickly if they can't pick up the win here. Huynh goes aggressive as he dashes up ramp with the shorty. You see this play sometimes, and it seems to work out, but no! He misses both shots, not prepared for food to be there, so that doesn't work out so well. Meanwhile, in mid, you've got aggression, and it's all falling apart. It's player one with the spike over on B, has to fight against the Sage, somehow wins that battle against Skadoodle, taps onto the spike, but there's one up top. Not prepared for Food, who finds 3 on the round. Again, we were saying it coming into that. They needed to win that pistol round. They couldn't let T1 get off to a string of rounds to kick things off in the second half.
And that seems to be exactly what is going to happen. T1 poised to knot things up here at 7-7. Gen.G facing the arduous task of winning in a thrifty round without the guns, while you're staring down the barrel of 4 Spectres and a Ghost. At the hands of Skadoodle, it's going to be a difficult ask, but that's what's in front of them. That's the mountain that they have to try to climb. It looks like it's going to be an A-hit, and AZK looks like he spotted them enough to at least pre-fire a bit. Huynh, once again, rocking the shorty. It didn't pay off super well last time, as he whiffed onto Food twice. This time looking for more success. AZK should be able to get that angle. However, but look at how they flooded onto the site. The problem is they still don't have the guns. crashies is able to get 2. AZK gets 1 as well. Gen.G is just falling apart. They are not in a position to win this, but Huynh, once again, finds himself in ropes with shorty. This time is met with far more success. Down to 2-2 here on personnel. The problem is both members of Gen.G have no health to their name. Huynh has 10, and I believe the Sage has just a bit more. But it's still not going to be very much. Yeah, 18. Huge difference.
No charges.
But the wall is going to go up. There's an opportunity here. He's going to heal himself up, but you hear the knife cutting its way through. No way. If he manages to get the kill, he's not able to. But Huynh is. Again, Huynh, the problem was he had no health. Brax is able to get the kill. T1 knots it up 7-7. It was dicey. It was insanely expensive for T1, but either way, they managed to pull it off.
Yeah, but now look at their buy. Like, their buy is gonna suck. You know, this is not gonna be fantastic. Light armor and rifles coming in. Their kits are probably gonna be a little bit bare. Skadoodle does afford the op, so that's big. But they buy down to next to nothing. It still feels like that was an opportunity that Gen.G just fumbled away towards the last part of it, as the peak came through, and it was just unfortunate not understanding where that final player was residing. Huyhn's gonna pop the ult, and the first shot's right on the money with the knives, but crashies is there pushing through the smoke to trade out. Skadoodle has to back off as the wall gets chiseled away in mid. Meanwhile, it's Brax who gets aggressive in B main, so that's gonna cost them another player. Skadoodle is still here with the op. They have to be a little bit careful of that. The spike is currently grouped up back towards mid, and they're gonna be moving through Ramen towards mid territory. There is no mid presence currently from T1, as they've been reduced down to 3. You've got AZK, who's over in A heaven. You've got the Phoenix working around in spawn. You've got Skadoodle with the op, who is over on B. And it looks like they're going to try and potentially work this spike through ropes towards A, and I'm loving the adjustment from T1 right now. They're positioning themselves perfectly for what's coming their direction.
And surely that smoke that you just saw from the Omen tells you where they are, unless they were low in ropes. And no, they just dropped down. It looks like they might try to go that way anyway. Effys is going to be the first up. He's going to run by. Oh, they play that so well. Player 1 is able to take care of AZK. That's going to give them the numbers that they need, Gen.G, to get onto the site. He drops down from the top ropes to get the kill, or tries to anyway, but that's all right. Effys and MkaeL are able to do the work that is needed, and that's going to give Gen.G a round. Again, it was good against good there. T1, the economy, the way that they won that second round after the pistol proving to be the difference maker.
I was a little bit worried about how that shift was coming through from T1. That second round was so important. That, yeah, T1 wins the pistol, but that second round they barely survive. So as a result, losing the pistol, but winning that, or I guess losing that second round the way that they did, has put Gen.G back into a control position again. Potentially a spot they would have been in had they won that pistol. So this is a big moment right now for Gen.G on the attacking side, an opportunity to hit round number 9. Again, not exactly stellar economics right now for T1. The cash is certainly spread thin. See, crashies currently rocking a Ghost. The rest of the team's buy is not exactly going to be stellar either. crashies does have the ult to run it back. It's the only one currently in play that has an ult available. Huynh pushing out right now with the op. Gonna get spotted as they go for the jiggle peek. Now they've got the Omen in position as well, back behind the planter box. So they do have a crossfire. This could prove to be a little bit powerful here for T1. Should Gen.G not fully clear these angles, but they're still playing so passive, not really moving out far enough as of yet. Still taking their time. They've got the breach in position to try to get them some aid onto the site. Here comes the execution, the tape coming through, the paranoia comes out, but it's a molly right in the position of AZK, flushing out that spot. Flame wall is down, as is Hot Hands. 25 seconds left though. TSM desperately, or T1 desperately trying to delay them as they try to come out onto the site. Gen.G though manages to gain access, and with just 14 seconds left, they'll go ahead and dedicate themselves to the spike plant. Not a single player falls on the push. Well played by Gen.G to get past the defense from T1.
No late game round, excuse me. Heroics from Food here. I think he still just has a classic. So I don't know. Yeah, he's not gonna be able to do a whole lot there. Maybe take someone with him to try to hurt the economy. But either way, time is not on his side. And neither is the list of members that are up on the side of Gen.G. Is he gonna try to? Okay. He's gonna get spotted. I thought he was gonna try to pull off something a little sneaky and work his way onto the site, but no, he's not gonna get there. But look at how this might play out. He's gonna run right into 4 of them, and he's gonna get cleaned up. Guimon takes him out back by their spawn. 9-7 in favor of Gen.G, nearing double digits, nearing eliminating T1, and nearing the next round of this tournament. But this bad boy is far from over. Now look at the buys. On the side of T1, you're buying down to nothing. Skadoodle, probably gonna... Okay, yeah, he's gonna opt to go for the Guardian, which, shout out to the Guardian. I think it's insanely underrated as a gun. But this is a very expensive round for T1. They're putting a lot into this thing. The problem is they can't afford to fall behind much further here. They're facing elimination.
Fire in the hole!
At the same point in time, it's the defensive side of this map. T1 still has plenty of opportunities here. Given the way that this map plays out, Brax is going to have to be the hero here. He's got the cyber cage up. You can see it set up for the one-way. He's got the high cam in there as well. The dark cover is down, and they're set up on both sides. Should he hold that for too long, potentially could be punished. But as the smoke bait's going to send a dart down. Actually, not where it needs to be. It misses his target. But right now, they're not afraid. They're continuing to stay towards this B site, and that's why. The orbital strike is going to clear out the threat from heaven, which means they've only got one player to concern themselves with on site, and that's the one who still hasn't been spotted. It's Skadoodle with the Guardian to strike first, but Brax hasn't had to do anything yet. The rest of his team's doing the dirty work. Now Brax peeks out, and it's down to one man standing. It's player one. This push towards B has not worked out well at all for Gen.G. T1 absolutely crushes it. And 4 players survive. That's a huge round for T1. And we'll see how it impacts the rounds moving forward. We'll take a look at the scoreboard. The buy is obviously still going to be good as the money is still built up strong here for Gen.G. But we'll see the ops come in from both sides. And even though Skadoodle hasn't really done much as of yet in this game, sitting at 6-13, that man is a sleeping giant. A sleeping dragon, if you will. Ready to wake and devour his prey.
Shout out to the observers for catching food on that flank. That was perfect. And it really, that's what ruined the play for Gen.G. That's what allowed T1 to pull that thing apart. So again, shout out to those guys. Give them props in the chat for the incredible job that they have done hour after hour, both yesterday and today, and as they will continue to do throughout the weekend. Now, Gen.G looking to extend their tournament lives throughout the weekend up against T1. They have a 1-0 lead. They have a 1-round lead, and they are in losers round 1. This is a best of 3. They need to win here. The spike is going to be making its way over onto A as all members of Gen.G, the Omen notwithstanding, making their way through sewers. It looks like it's going to be a heavy push that way. The problem is, if you're a fan of T1, it's only AZK. AZK is the only one on the site who's poised to put up some sort of a fight and defense. Now you see Skadoodle slowly making his way over there as well. There's crashies with the ult, and he's not going to find a single soul. The run it back is going to run him back, all the way back, as it looks like they're ready to pull the trigger and make their way onto A. He had a chance with the op, but he wasn't able to pull it off, as player 1 is able to get 2, but AZK gets 2 of his own. GMG is able to get 1 as well. The spike is going to go down. It's going to be a 3v2 here in favor of Gen.G. They've got the numbers advantage. The spike is down as well. Food drops player 1, looking to get the 4th kill, and this time it may be onto crashies, and it looks like, yep, as fate would have it, he's gonna get a chance, but he's not able to win the gunfight. He didn't have a ton of health to his name as well. crashies here in a 1v2, trying to hold things off and get the defuse. He's gonna delay MkaeL for just a moment, and but Huynh is gonna be pushing his way in. He still isn't on it. Huynh once again trying to deal the damage. The firewall is up. crashies is able to get 1. It's gonna leave him in a 1v1. He's gonna try to stick the defuse here, but he fakes it, looking for the kill, and he's not gonna get it. MkaeL cleans it up. It could have been disaster for Gen.G, but they managed to pull it off. Up 2 rounds over T1.
Costly round coming in for Gen.G, but they can afford it as the money is still there for them to fall back on. Really well played from crashies, honestly, despite the fact that he doesn't win the round. Almost managed to make it work. Great utilization of Hot Hands and his flame wall to try and mask off the territories. He actually started to pull that last player into the site until that 1v1 duel with his teammate went down, and then he realized, okay, he's not on the spike, and you saw the U-turn come in from the Omen. crashies did everything he could. It was a strong take from Gen.G, and it was just too much for him to overcome. Double-digit rounds now on the board for Gen.G. But there's still a little bit to fall back on here for T1. They've got some ults to work with. They've got the Omen port. They've got the Neural Theft. On the opposite side, you've got the Res, and you've also got the Orbital Strike for Gen.G. Right now, they're gathering up control of mid. You see an aggressive play from Brax going up onto the box in the corner of B main. Wall's about to come through from Skadoodle. That'll delay things a little bit in mid, but not for long. That ice is taken care of quickly, and that's a quick shot coming out from Huynh right onto Skadoodle. A trade will come through as Brax has got this lined up. MkaeL doesn't stand a chance as he works his way into B main. There's still resources over on A for both teams. You've got the Brim there. There's the ult pop coming in from Brax. They're going to try and slow this one down. As he moves into position in that corner, Demon's going to swing wide and take him out.
Kill my allies.
And there's the Res as well, coming in to make things a 5-on-3 in favor of Gen.G. You've got APK trying to come into position. There's the Rolling Thunder coming out. The wall is in. Food's around the corner. Quick trade coming through. Huynh tries to dash into position, but it's not even necessary. The Orbital Strike also popped. The curveball coming through. He's trying to stop this spike from planting, but it's going to come through just barely, and it'll all fall onto AZK, and he can't fight his way out of that one. Another round for Gen.G as they put number 11 on the scoreboard.
Huynh popping off there, and he's having himself a field day here. 16-12, and PL1 is following up and besting him at 19-13. The performance out of Gen.G here has been so good, but T1 has kept this thing close. They refuse to go away. Gen.G 2 rounds away from eliminating them, and I have a hard time believing, even with it being on the defending side, it's just so close that I don't believe that the round difference really tells the story of just how close this is here. And even with that, it's been rounds traded back and forth the entire time. The spike in the hands of Gen.G. A slow push onto A. There's only one member on the side of T1. It's the Phoenix who's going to be there. as a defender, as Huynh and the Omen look to raise a little bit of a ruckus and draw attention over to mid. And yep, that's going to play out exactly as they want. crashies is going to rotate his way back to mid, not knowing that that's not where the play is. That's not where the spike is. PL1 and the rest, of Gen.G are going to work their way onto the site here. 47 seconds left in this thing, so they're going to have to move here quickly, but they're going to be able to do so. There's no one there to stop them.
Smoke's down.
They're moving out onto this A site. It's empty. It's vacant. They've got free access. The Sage Wall is going to go down on screens. The smokes go out as well. They do lose one of their players. MkaeL gets picked off. But at that point, it doesn't really matter as the site's been lost. And it'll take a miracle for T1 to try to get back into this. Position right now pretty strong coming in for Gen.G. You've already got crashies working down the ramp. You've got Huynh, who's back in spawn, watching for the flank. Has to be careful. The timing, not going to make a difference. The shotgun in his hands, point blank range, not much can be done. They're getting picked apart on the attempted retake. 12 rounds on the board for Gen.G. T1 staring down the barrel of elimination at the hands of Gen.G. Despite the strong start in map 1, despite the strong half here in the first half. On the attacking side, they haven't managed to make it work on the defense as Gen.G has really come alive here in this second half. And a large part of that's been player 1, 20 and 13 currently. Just behind them is Huynh. But the reality is everyone's pulling that load on the opposite end. Things not working out so well for the likes of Food and Skadoodle. crashies as well, not up to snuff with his typical performances.
Shadows traveling. Cover going out.
It was a full buy on the side of T1, so it's not like they're not going to have the resources needed to extend this thing. It's just going to come down to whether or not they can execute. It's going to be a heavy push on to B, and once again, it seems like Gen.G plays this well. It's not going to be a push up mid. There was only going to be one as far as resources on the side of T1. And look at how they make the play. They get the wall up. MkaeL gets onto the back of the site. There's the showstopper. Not going to connect onto anyone except the giant ice wall. brax is able to get one. Huynh tries to come in from the top ropes and isn't able to do anything. brax keeps the round alive as he gets one left on the side of Gen.G, and that's Huynh, the man himself. We've called him for heroics many a time in this tournament, but it's not happening here. brax puts the team on his back with an ace, and we're playing another round.
It was looking so promising on that push. Gen.G played that masterfully on the initial take. Even when the showstopper ult gets popped by Food, you watch it kind of go off the mark, and you're thinking, okay, this is looking really good. And then brax just goes absolutely insane and finds the ace, but he just picks apart Gen.G piece by piece. Gen.G, though, still at round number 12. T1 has to do that 3 more times. Do we think they can do it? It's another full buy coming in from Gen.G. The aggressive flash from crashies gives away the information as you can hear the shots rain out just in case there's a target right around that corner. Huynh already up ramp though, getting past that line of defense. Last round we saw him pop the ult. Again, we talked about it early in this match. We saw him work that ult well, but it hasn't always been something that's been strong for him. You can see it play out in that previous round as he went over the wall and it backfired horrendously. Still, though, the ult pop coming in from the Phoenix on the defense doesn't produce much outside of a little bit of information as he gets instantly gunned down on the attempt to push towards the ramp. Mid control right now for MkaeL has made it all the way up in towards mid, not into mailroom. The Sage will throw down a slow orb. That's Skadoodle trying to halt his presence in mid. Right now, it's just a matter of patience. How long are they going to wait for the take? You've got Huynh lining things up, ready for this push. It's all about the timing. So here it comes, the flash coming through. Counter flash coming out from the defense, but they don't actually fire that flash. Huynh has actually managed to make it into heaven. This could be massive as they start to rotate through from spawn. But Skadoodle has the peace of mind and the awareness. MkaeL, though, is still up here in heaven on the lurk, has the backstab, and the Sage is not prepared. So Skadoodle not ready for that one, but 15 seconds left. Yet again, they gotta go, and they're not getting onto the site as easily as they need to. Huynh is doing everything he can, but it falls onto MkaeL in the 1v2. 6 seconds left. There's a target on the site. Great flash coming out from crashies. It's 10 rounds on the board for T1.
It just took too long. The play just took too freaking long, and as soon as they were met with it, that's the problem. Okay, minor pet peeve. All right, I'm gonna rant a little bit here, but keep me honest. Don't let me go off on this tangent. When you play the rounds as slowly as we just saw, you're committing really hard to one way and one way alone, and you get one shot at executing it. So if you're met with a paranoia as you try to work your way onto A during your entry, guess what? You drop the ball. You screwed the pooch, and there's nothing for you to do there, and that's exactly what we saw for Gen.G. Once again, it's going to be a play out onto A, but it seems to be far more aggressive. Huynh has already worked his way up A ramps. There are only 2 on the side of T1 who are going to be here for the defense this very well. May put the finishing touches on T1's tournament lives. AZK is going to be the first one to go down to the hands of Huynh. Huynh, we've called his name many a time, and he's going to do it again. Huynh gets one as well, and as Huynh gets another one. Food drops. It's going to be a 4v2. T1's tournament hopes are on the precipice of going down. There's the Rolling Thunder. They're on their last lifeline as MkaeL gets AZK yet again, managing to die twice in this round. It's a 4v2. The spike is down. Brax trying to hack his way through the wall, but this very well may do it. Huynh knowing where a player is, but that wall is just proving to be so much interference. Skadoodle with the op from top ropes up in heaven, not able to land anything quite yet, but look at how heavily they're hunkered in. They refuse to let anyone work their way onto the site. I love how they're playing this defensively, but the time is running out. Skadoodle gets one, and it doesn't matter. Effys and Huynh send T1 home packing.